The emergency lights flashed red throughout the massive space station called Apex Prime. Ambassador Sung walked through the long corridor with steady steps, his black diplomatic suit perfectly pressed despite the urgent summons. He had been on Earth enjoying a brief vacation when the call came. Now he was back, walking toward what he knew would be trouble. The Galactic Council chamber was enormous. It could hold thousands of beings from different worlds. Today, it was packed. Sung saw representatives from all 12 elder races sitting in their designated sections. They looked like tall birds with silver feathers. They resembled giant turtles with 6 arms. There were floating jellyfish creatures that glowed with soft blue light. Every species was different, and most of them were very old. Their civilizations had existed for millions of years. Humanity was new here. Earth had joined the Galactic Council only 3 years ago. Most species still thought of humans as children playing at space travel. Sung had learned to accept this attitude with patience, though it annoyed him sometimes. He took his seat in the human section, which was much smaller than the others. His assistant, a young woman named Jinnah, sat beside him with her data pad ready. She looked nervous. Sung gave her a small nod of reassurance. The council leader, an ancient being called, activated the central hologram. The image showed a fleet of warships. They were dark and angular, covered in weapon ports and armor plating. Sung recognized them immediately. Ships. The Dominion was known throughout the galaxy as conquerors. They had taken over 47 worlds in the past 2 centuries. "We gather for a serious matter," announced. His voice echoed through translation devices that every species wore. "The Dominion has issued a formal declaration of conquest. Their target is the human Earth." A ripple of noise went through the chamber. Some species made clicking sounds. Others hummed or whistled. Sung noticed that many were trying not to laugh. They thought this was amusing. War Prince appeared in the hologram. He was which meant he looked like a cross between a lizard and an insect. His scales were dark red, and his 4 arms ended in claws. His eyes were cold and yellow. "The Dominion claims Earth and all its resources," declared. His voice was harsh and filled with confidence. "Humanity is weak. They have no real fleet. Their weapons are primitive. Their soldiers use bullets and explosives like ancient savages. We will conquer Earth in less than 1 planetary rotation. This is not a request. This is a statement of fact." More noise filled the chamber. This time, several species did laugh. Sung sat perfectly still, his face showing nothing. A counselor named Yek stood up. His silver feathers ruffled with what looked like amusement. "Perhaps the humans wish to surrender now. It would save many lives. They are experienced conquerors. Resistance would be foolish." Other counselors nodded. A representative activated her display screen, showing military statistics. "Humanity has 12 orbital platforms around Earth. The fleet has 300 warships. Humanity has no dreadnoughts. They have 5. The mathematical probability of human survival is 0.003%. Effectively 0, another counselor added helpfully. Sung raised his hand to speak. The chamber quieted down, though he could still hear quiet chuckling from various sections. "Ambassador Sung of Earth," acknowledged. "Do you wish to announce your world's surrender?" "No," Sung said simply. "I wish to request a recess of 24 hours to consult with my government." This caused confusion. Several counselors spoke at once. War Prince's image laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "You need permission to surrender," mocked. "How very human, weak and indecisive." Sung turned to look directly at this hologram. His face remained calm, but something in his eyes made stop laughing. For just a moment, the War Prince looked uncertain. "I need time to relay your declaration to Earth," Sung said quietly, "and to hear their response." Counselor, a member of a species called the, leaned forward in her seat. They looked almost human, except for their pale blue skin and completely black eyes, had always been different from other counselors. She actually studied humanity instead of dismissing them. Perhaps we should grant this request, suggested. It is only fair to let them consult their leadership. Waved a clawed hand. Very well, 24 hours. Then we reconvene to discuss the terms of Earth's annexation to the Dominion. This session is adjourned. The counselors began to leave, many of them chatting casually about other matters. To them, this was already decided. Earth would fall and life would continue as always. Sung stood and began walking toward the exit. Counselor appeared beside him, moving with surprising speed. "Ambassador," she said quietly, "a word of advice." Sung stopped and looked at her. "Yes." "I have studied your species' history," continued, her black eyes focused on his face. "More thoroughly than most here. I know about your wars, your weapons, your tactics. I have a question and I hope you will answer honestly." "I will try," Sung replied. "Does the Council have any idea what humanity is actually capable of?" asked. Sung was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled, though it did not reach his eyes. "No," he said softly, "they do not." Studied him carefully. "And you have no intention of enlightening them?" "Why would I?" Sung asked. "The declared war on Earth, not the other way around. They believe we are weak and primitive. Let them continue believing that." "The Council assumes Earth will surrender or be destroyed," pointed out. "The Council assumes many things," Sung replied. "Most of them are wrong." He started walking again. Watched him go, a troubled expression on her face. She had read the reports about human history. She had seen the statistics about Earth's wars, the death tolls, the weapons they had created before even leaving their own planet. She had a very bad feeling about what was coming. As Sung reached his private communication room, he activated the quantum link to Earth. The connection took only seconds. Fleet Admiral appeared on the screen, her face serious. "Ambassador," she greeted him, "I've been watching the Council feed. They are coming." "Yes," Sung confirmed. 300 ships. They think we will surrender or be conquered easily." His expression did not change, but her eyes became hard as steel. "And what did you tell them?" "Nothing," Sung said. "I requested time to consult with Earth's government. They granted it. They are laughing at us, Admiral. The entire Council thinks this is amusing." "Good," replied coldly. "Let them laugh. When they arrive, we will show them exactly why attacking Earth is the worst mistake they have ever made." Sung nodded. "Shall I inform the Council that Earth refuses to surrender?" "Yes," said, "and tell them we are preparing to defend our world, nothing more. Let them think we are scared primitives building barricades." "Understood," Sung said. "Good hunting, Admiral." "Good hunting," replied, and the connection ended. Sung sat alone in the quiet room, thinking about what was coming. They had conquered 47 worlds. They had never faced real resistance. They had never fought an enemy that had spent 10,000 years learning how to kill efficiently. They were about to learn a very painful lesson. The United Earth Defense Council met in an underground bunker beneath Seoul. The room was large but simple, with concrete walls and bright lights. A massive screen dominated one wall, showing star maps and tactical data. Around the long table sat military leaders from every nation on Earth. They had put aside old differences years ago when humanity reached the stars. Now they had only one mission: protect their home. Fleet Admiral stood at the head of the table. She was 50 years old, with streaks in her black hair and eyes that had seen too many wars. She had fought in the resource wars 20 years ago, back when humans still killed each other over water and minerals. Now she commanded Earth's entire space fleet. "Listen up," said, her voice cutting through the low conversations. The room went silent immediately. "The Dominion has declared war on Earth. Their fleet will arrive in approximately 72 hours. Intelligence confirms 300 warships, including 5 dreadnoughts." She pressed a button on her control pad. The screen showed images of ships. They were huge, some nearly 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapon systems. Lieutenant, a thin man with glasses who ran the intelligence division, stood up next. They use standard Galactic Council military technology: plasma cannons, particle beams, energy shields. Their tactics follow Council-approved doctrines, which emphasize formation fighting and overwhelming firepower. They have conquered 47 worlds using these methods. "Sounds impressive," someone muttered. "It would be," replied, "if we fought like the Council expects, but we don't." Captain Minu entered the room, still wearing his flight suit. He had just returned from patrol duty aboard the Defiant, Earth's most advanced destroyer. Minu was young for a ship captain, only 35, but he had earned his position through skill and courage. Captain acknowledged him. "Your assessment." Minu moved to the display and pulled up new images. These showed human warships. They looked different from vessels. Smaller, sleeker, with unusual design features that no Council species used. "They think we are primitive," Minu said. "They saw our old orbital platforms and assumed that is all we have. They do not know about the shipyards on Titan. They do not know about the fleet we have been building for the past 5 years." He pressed another button. The screen now showed 50 human warships in formation. "These are our vessels, fast, heavily armed and designed for one purpose: killing Council standard ships." "The Council banned kinetic weapons 3,000 years ago," Lieutenant added. "They consider them barbaric. All Council species use energy weapons now. Their shields are specifically designed to stop plasma and particle beams." "But not," Colonel said with a grim smile, commanded the Special Operations Division. He was a large man with scars on his hands and a reputation for ruthless efficiency. "Exactly," Minu confirmed. "Our accelerate tungsten rods to 1/10 the speed of light. The kinetic energy is equivalent to tactical nuclear weapons, and shields will not stop them because they were never designed to." Dr. Bora walked to the front of the room. She was the head of weapons development, a small woman with fierce intelligence and no patience for stupidity. She had spent the last decade designing weapons that the Galactic Council had forgotten could exist. "Project is ready," Bora announced. "All systems are operational. We have 17,000 stealth mines deployed throughout the solar system. Each one carries a directional EMP pulse that will disable ship systems without destroying them. We also have the laser defense grid fully active. Every satellite in Earth orbit is actually a weapons platform." She pulled up technical specifications. "Though we'll see what they expect to see: old technology, primitive systems. They will not scan deeply because they assume we are no threat. By the time they realize the truth, it will be too late." Admiral nodded slowly. "Commander Suki, what is your intelligence assessment?" Commander Suki ran naval intelligence. She was quiet and careful, the kind of person who noticed everything and said little. "They have not fought a real war in 80 years, she reported. "They conquer primitive worlds that cannot fight back. Their crews are experienced in bombardment and intimidation, but not in actual combat against an equal enemy." "We are not equal," Colonel interrupted. "We are superior." "In experience, yes," Suki agreed. "Humans have been fighting wars for 10,000 years. We have refined combat into a science. They follow predictable patterns. We can exploit that." Lieutenant brought up another display. "Their command structure is rigid. Orders flow from War Prince down through his officers. If we disrupt their command ship, the entire fleet will become confused. Council doctrine does not train initiative. Officers wait for orders instead of adapting." "Humans do not have that problem," Minu said quietly. "Our captains are trained to think independently, to adapt, to take risks." Admiral looked around the room at her officers. These were good people, skilled warriors. They had trained for years for a moment like this, even though many had hoped it would never come. "The Galactic Council thinks we are weak," she said. "They think our weapons are primitive toys. They are laughing at us right now, assuming we will either surrender or be destroyed quickly. What they do not understand is that humanity has never been conquered. Not by nature, not by disease, not by each other. We survive because we are the most dangerous species on our planet. She paused, letting her words sink in. Earth produced dozens of apex predators. We competed with lions, bears, sharks, and creatures that could kill us with ease. We won because we were smarter, more adaptable, and more vicious than anything else. We learned to hunt in packs. We learned to make weapons. We learned to fight. Dr. Bora nodded. The council species evolved on peaceful worlds. They became intelligent through cooperation. They reached the stars through logic and patience. But humanity, we climbed to dominance over the bodies of everything that tried to stop us. And when we ran out of predators to fight, Colonel added, we fought each other. For thousands of years, we perfected the art of warfare. We built empires and destroyed them. We created weapons that could end all life on our planet. The Council thinks their plasma cannons are advanced. We had nuclear weapons before we even left Earth. Captain Minu pulled up images from human history. Ancient battles with swords and spears. Medieval wars with castles and armies. Modern conflicts with tanks and aircraft. And finally, the resource wars, fought with drones and cyber weapons and terrible efficiency. Every human child learns military history, Minu explained. We study tactics from Sun, Napoleon, and 100 other generals. We play strategy games for fun. We turn war into entertainment because it is part of our culture. They have no concept of this. Lieutenant smiled coldly. The Council bans certain weapons and tactics because they are too effective, too dangerous. But Earth never signed those treaties. We were not part of the Council when those rules were made, so we kept developing everything they abandoned. Nuclear weapons, Dr. Bora listed. Biological weapons, chemical weapons, cyber warfare, kinetic bombardment, artificial intelligence combat systems, gravity weapons, antimatter warheads. We have weapons the Council has not seen in thousands of years, weapons they have forgotten how to fight against. Admiral brought up the tactical plan. Here is what we are going to do. Let them enter the solar system. Let them position themselves for attack. Let them feel confident and superior. Then we hit them with everything we have. She pointed at the display. Captain Minu will lead the fleet assault. Colonel will prepare boarding teams in case we need to capture enemy ships. Lieutenant will coordinate cyber attacks on their computer systems. Dr. Bora will activate the defense grid and deploy the minefields. Commander Suki will handle intelligence and communications. What about the Council? Someone asked. Will they intervene? No, Admiral said firmly. The Council allows wars of conquest against primitive species. By their own laws, they cannot interfere. They will watch and assume we will lose quickly. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when you attack humanity. Colonel stood up, his expression hard. We need to send a message, not just but to every species in the galaxy. Earth is not weak. Humanity is not prey. Anyone who attacks us will regret it. Agreed, Admiral said. We are not fighting just to survive. We are fighting to establish respect. The galaxy sees us as newcomers, as children. After this battle, they will see us differently. Captain Minu looked at the star map showing the fleet's approach vector. How many casualties are we expecting? The room went quiet. Admiral's expression softened slightly. We will lose ships. We will lose people. War always costs lives, but we will win. And the will learn that attacking Earth is not conquest. It is suicide. She stood tall and looked at each officer in turn. We have 72 hours to prepare. Check your systems. Brief your crews. Make sure everything is ready. When they arrive, I want them to face the full might of human military power. And if they surrender? Lieutenant asked. Admiral smiled, but it was not a kind smile. Then we accept their surrender and send them home with a story. A story about the day they attacked Earth and barely escaped with their lives. A story that will spread throughout the galaxy. The officers began to leave. each heading to their duties. Captain Menu stayed behind for a moment. "Admiral," he said quietly, "do you think the Council will change how they treat us after this?" Looked at the star map. "Yes," she said. "They will stop laughing. They will stop dismissing us as primitives. They will fear us. And fear, Captain, is the beginning of respect." War Prince stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Blood Talon. Around him, officers moved between control stations, monitoring the fleet's progress through space. Outside the viewing ports, 300 warships maintained perfect formation. It was beautiful thought, a symbol of power and dominance. "Status report," commanded. His second officer, Commander K, consulted his display screen. "We have entered the outer region of the human solar system, my prince. No resistance detected. Scanning shows primitive orbital platforms around the third planet, several satellites, nothing of military significance." His mandibles clicked together in satisfaction. As expected, these humans are children playing with toys. Move the fleet to attack formation. We will position around the fourth planet first. Let them see our strength. They will surrender before we even need to fire a shot. The fleet adjusted course, massive engines burning bright in the darkness of space. They passed several outer planets, dead rocks and gas giants that held no interest, had studied the intelligence reports on humanity. They had only recently developed faster-than-light travel. Their weapons were kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives, primitive, laughable. "My prince," Kay said carefully, "sensors detect unusual debris fields in several orbital zones. Should we investigate?" Waved a dismissive claw. "Space junk. These humans barely know how to maintain their orbit. Ignore it. Focus on the primary target." The Blood Talon led the fleet toward Mars, the fourth planet. It was red and barren, with some small human installations visible on the surface. Ordered the fleet to hold position in orbit. "Open a communication channel to Earth," he commanded. "Let them hear my voice." The communications officer activated the system. Image was now being broadcast to every receiver on the human. "People of Earth," announced, "I am War Prince of the Dominion. Your world is now claimed by the Dominion. You have one planetary rotation to surrender. Place your leaders on shuttles and send them to my flagship. If you comply, we will allow your species to serve the Dominion. If you resist, we will glass your cities from orbit. You have no fleet that can challenge us. You have no weapons that can harm us. Surrender and live. Fight and die. The choice is yours." He closed the channel and turned to his officers. "Begin charging the main plasma cannons. Target their lunar base. When they see what one shot can do, they will beg to surrender." The massive weapon systems on all 5 dreadnoughts began powering up. Each plasma lance could deliver enough energy to vaporize a mountain. Had used them 47 times before on 47 different worlds. The sight always made primitive species surrender immediately. "Weapon charged," the tactical officer reported. "Ready to fire on your command." "Fire ordered." The plasma lance shot forward, a brilliant beam of superheated energy that could cross the distance to the moon in seconds. Watched with satisfaction. This was always his favorite part. Then something impossible happened. The plasma beam vanished. Not exploded, not deflected, simply disappeared as if it had never existed. "What?" snarled. "Where did it go?" His officers stared at their screens in confusion. "Unknown, my prince. Sensors show the beam was intercepted by multiple point sources, thousands of them. They created an interference pattern that dispersed the energy." "That is not possible," said. "What point sources? We saw no defensive platforms." "My prince," Kay said, his voice tight with worry. "Those debris fields, they are activating thousands of objects. They are not space junk. They are weapons." Spun to look at the main display. All around his fleet, small objects were powering up. They had looked like defunct satellites and broken equipment. Now they glowed with energy, linking together in a vast network. Evasive action screamed. Too late. The space around the fleet lit up with explosions. Not the explosions of missiles or bombs, but electromagnetic pulses. Invisible waves of energy that washed over the warships, passing harmlessly through their shields. Shields designed to stop plasma and particle weapons. Shields that were completely useless against EMP attacks. Ship after ship went dark, systems failed, engines stopped, weapons powered down. In 30 seconds, half the fleet was floating dead in space, their electronics fried by the pulse weapons. Status, roared. His own ship had survived, protected by redundant systems, but dozens of other vessels had not been so lucky. Unknown weapon type, an officer reported, his voice shaking. It passed through our shields as if they were not there. Primary systems are recovering, but forward squadrons are completely disabled. Then the real attack began. From behind Earth's moon, 50 human warships appeared. They were small compared to dreadnoughts, but they moved with terrifying speed. No council ship could maneuver like that. They darted and weaved through space like hunting birds. Captain Minu sat in the command chair of the Defiant, his hands steady on the controls. Around him, his bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this moment for years. All ships, Minu said into the fleet channel, engage at will, target their propulsion systems first. Let's show them what can do. The Defiant's main weapon fired. It was not a plasma beam or particle lance. It was a solid tungsten rod, 30 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide, accelerated to 1/10 the speed of light by magnetic fields. The rod hit a destroyer in the engine section. The kinetic energy was equivalent to a tactical nuclear weapon. The destroyer simply exploded, torn apart by the impact. Pieces of hull and machinery sprayed outward in an expanding cloud of debris. Target destroyed, the weapons officer reported calmly. Next target, Minu ordered. Throughout the fleet, human warships fired there. Tungsten rods streaked through space, each one carrying enough energy to obliterate anything it hit. The shields, designed to stop energy weapons, might as well have been paper. The kinetic projectiles passed through them and smashed into hull armor with devastating results. War Prince watched in horror as his fleet died around him. Ships exploded. Vessels tumbled through space, their engines destroyed. Some tried to return fire, but their plasma cannons were intercepted by the human defense grid. Thousands of laser platforms, masquerading as defunct satellites, created overlapping fields of fire that neutralized every energy weapon they fired. "How is this possible?" whispered. "They are primitives, they use kinetic weapons. How can they be winning?" Commander K had figured it out. "My prince, the Council banned kinetic weapons 3,000 years ago. Our shields were never designed to stop them. These humans never agreed to the weapons ban. They kept developing the technology we abandoned." "Get me the Council," screamed. "Demand they intervene. This is a violation of the Warfare Accords." "My prince, the humans never signed the Accords. They are not bound by Council law." Another explosion rocked the Blood Talon as a round hit the starboard section. Damage reports flooded in. The flagship was strong, but it could not survive many more hits like that. Captain Minu watched the tactical display. The fleet was in complete disarray. They had expected a quick, easy conquest. Instead, they were being destroyed by an enemy they had underestimated completely. "Lieutenant," Minu said into his communication link, "how are we doing?" Back on Earth, Lieutenant sat in the Sol Command Center, monitoring the battle through dozens of data streams. "Excellent, Captain. We have destroyed 37 enemy vessels. 2 more are disabled and drifting. Our cyber warfare teams have infiltrated their communication network. We are listening to everything they say." "And our losses?" 3 ships damaged. No casualties. The enemy cannot hit what they cannot track. Our point defense is intercepting everything they shoot at us." Minu nodded. Humans had developed advanced AI targeting systems, something the Council restricted. Human ships could predict enemy fire patterns and evade automatically. Ships relied on manual targeting and slow, predictable movements. "Sir," his tactical officer said, "the enemy flagship is attempting to retreat." "Let them," Minyu ordered, "but stay close. I want them to remember this. I want them to tell everyone in the galaxy what happened here." War Prince stood on his damaged bridge, his 4 arms shaking with rage and fear. He had conquered 47 worlds. He had never lost a battle, and now these primitive humans had destroyed a fifth of his fleet in less than 6 hours. "Full retreat," he ordered. "All ships break formation and fall back to the outer system. Move." The surviving warships turned and fled. Some were limping, their engines damaged. Others were so panicked they crashed into each other trying to escape. It was chaos, complete disorder, everything the Dominion was supposed to never experience. Captain Minyu watched them go. Part of him wanted to pursue to destroy the entire fleet, but Admiral had been clear. Let them survive. Let them spread the story. "All ships hold position," Minyu ordered. "Do not pursue. Maintain defensive formation around Earth." On Apex Prime, the Galactic Council watched the live feed from the battle in stunned silence. What they were seeing should have been impossible. A primitive species had just defeated one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. Counselor stared at his probability screen. It showed error messages. The simulations had never predicted this outcome. It was statistically impossible. Counselor watched with grim satisfaction. She had tried to warn them. Humans were different, dangerous. Now the Council was learning that lesson the hard way. Ambassador Sung sat in his observation room, watching the battle results come in. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt a fierce pride. Earth had been threatened. Earth had responded, and now the galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. Lieutenant's voice came through Minyu's communication system. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the flagship. War Prince is demanding council mediation." Minyu smiled coldly. "Forward it to Admiral. Let her decide how to respond." In the Sol Command Center, Admiral listened to panicked demands. The arrogance was gone. Now there was only fear. She opened a channel to the flagship. "War Prince, this is Admiral of Earth. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. If you are still here when that time expires, we will finish what you started. We will show you what humanity considers a full military response. This is your only warning." She closed the channel and looked at her officers. "Prepare Phase 2 of operation. If they are still here tomorrow, we end this permanently." The Galactic Council chamber had never been so loud. Counselors from 12 different species were all trying to talk at once. Some were shouting in anger. Others clicked or hummed in confusion. A few sat in shocked silence, their eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the wreckage of the fleet floating in Earth's solar system. Counselor tried to restore order by activating the speaker's gavel, a device that sent out a harmonic pulse. The sound cut through the noise, forcing everyone to stop talking. "Order," commanded. "We will have order in this chamber." The counselors settled down, but the tension remained thick in the air. On one side of the room, Ambassador Sung sat calmly in the human section, his expression neutral. On the other side, War Prince stood in a holographic projection from his damaged flagship, his scales dark with shame and fury. "This is an outrage," shouted. "The humans used banned weapons. They violated every principle of civilized warfare. The Council must sanction them immediately." Several counselors nodded in agreement. A representative stood up, his silver feathers ruffled with agitation. "The use of kinetic weapons was outlawed 3,000 years ago. They are barbaric and excessively destructive. Earth must answer for this violation." Ambassador Sung raised his hand to speak. Looked like he wanted to refuse, but council law required him to acknowledge the request. Ambassador Sung said coldly, "You may speak." Sung stood slowly. He walked to the center of the chamber where speakers traditionally address the full council. His movements were calm and deliberate. When he spoke, his voice was quiet but clear. "Counselors, I want to make sure I understand the situation correctly," Sung said. "War Prince declared war on Earth. He brought 300 warships to our solar system. He threatened to glass our cities and kill billions of people. Earth defended itself. And now you are angry at us." "You used banned weapons," another counselor shouted. "Did we?" Sung asked. "Show me the treaty. Show me where Earth signed an agreement to ban kinetic weapons." Pulled up the relevant document on the main display. It was called the Warfare Limitation Accord, signed 3,000 years ago by all council member species. It listed dozens of weapons and tactics that were considered too dangerous for civilized use. "As you can see," said, "kinetic bombardment weapons are strictly prohibited under Section 7, Paragraph 12. "Yes," Sung agreed. "I can see that. Now show me Earth's signature on that document." Silence fell across the chamber. Checked the document again. No human signature appeared. Earth had only joined the Council 3 years ago. This treaty was ancient. "Earth was not a member of the Council when this accord was created," Sung continued. "We never agreed to these restrictions. Under Council law, we are not bound by treaties we never signed. War Prince should have considered this before attacking us. You cannot expect to be part of this council and ignore our most fundamental laws," argued. "We are not ignoring anything," Sung replied calmly. "We are simply not bound by agreements made before we existed as a space-faring species. If the council wishes Earth to adopt these restrictions, we can negotiate. But you cannot retroactively apply laws to us and then punish us for not following them." Counselor the representative stood up, her black eyes fixed on holographic form. "Perhaps we should discuss how this situation began," suggested. "War Prince, did you or did you not declare war on Earth without provocation?" Scales flushed darker. "The Dominion has the right to claim primitive worlds under Council law. Earth qualified as such a world. We followed proper procedure." "Earth is a Council member," pointed out. "Provisional membership, yes, but still protected under Council law. You cannot declare war on a member species without Council approval." "They are primitives," snarled. "Look at their weapons, kinetic projectiles, explosive chemicals. They fight like savages." Sung turned to face projection. "You are correct, War Prince. Humanity does use kinetic weapons. We also use explosives, incendiaries, and many other tools that the Council considers barbaric. Would you like to know why?" He did not wait for an answer. Instead, he activated his own holographic display. Images filled the air above the Council chamber. Images of Earth. "This is Sung explained. "Earth is not like your worlds. We did not evolve in peaceful environments where intelligence was rewarded with safety. Earth produced predators, thousands of species that could kill humans easily. We survived because we learned to be more dangerous than anything else on our planet." The images showed lions, tigers, bears, sharks, and dozens of other creatures. The council members leaned forward, studying these alien predators with fascination and discomfort. "We competed with these creatures for millions of years," Sung continued. "We learned to hunt in packs. We learned to make weapons, stone tools at first, then metal. We learned to control fire, to build traps, to plan attacks that would take days or weeks to execute. We became the apex predator on a world full of apex predators." New images appeared. These showed human history, ancient battles with thousands of soldiers, medieval sieges, modern warfare with tanks and aircraft. "And when we ran out of other predators to fight, we fought each other," Sung said quietly. "For 10,000 years, humans have been perfecting warfare. We built empires that spanned continents. We created weapons that could kill millions. We fought wars that lasted generations. Dr. Bora's hologram appeared beside Sung. She had been listening to the council session from Earth and had requested permission to speak. "Counselors," Dr. Bora said, "I am head of Earth's Weapons Development Division. Before humanity reached the stars, we had already created weapons capable of destroying our entire planet. Nuclear weapons, biological weapons, chemical weapons. We built these things and then used them on each other." She pulled up technical specifications that made several council members gasp. "The bombs we dropped on two of our own cities in 1945 killed over 200,000 people instantly. Each bomb was primitive by modern standards, yet powerful enough to level mountains. We had thousands of them. We pointed them at each other for decades, knowing that if war started, our entire species might die." "This is madness," whispered. "Yes," Dr. Bora agreed. "From your perspective, it is madness, but from humanity's perspective, it is survival. We learned that the only way to prevent war is to be too dangerous to attack, mutually assured destruction. It is a concept your species abandoned long ago, but we live with it every day." Captain Minu's image joined the display. He spoke from the bridge of the Defiant, still positioned in Earth's defense formation. "I have studied your military history, counselors," Minu said. "The fought 3 wars in their entire history before joining the council. The fought none. The evolved without the concept of violence. You created the council to prevent conflict because your species find war traumatic and unnatural." He paused, his expression hard. "Humanity has fought over 16,000 documented wars in our recorded history. We have military academies where children learn tactics and strategy. We turn historical battles into games. We study ancient generals like Sun and the way you study philosophers. War is not foreign to us. It is part of our culture." The council members looked at each other in growing horror. They were beginning to understand something they had never considered. Humanity was not just different. Humanity was incompatible with their entire worldview. Lieutenant appeared on the display. "Counselors, I want to show you something. These are comparative statistics." Numbers filled the holographic space. The average council species has 0.05% of their population in military service. Earth has 3%. That is 60 times more military personnel per. The average council species spends 1% of their economy on defense. Earth spends 7%. The average council warship has 12 weapon systems. Our Defiant has 48. "You have turned your entire civilization into a war machine," said, his voice filled with disgust. "No," Lieutenant corrected. "We have turned our civilization into a survival machine. There is a difference. We do not worship war. We fear it. But we understand that in a dangerous universe, the only way to guarantee peace is to be too dangerous to attack." Counselor spoke again. "I have been studying humanity for 3 years. I tried to warn this council, but no one listened. Humans are persistence hunters. On Earth, they would chase prey animals for days until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. They can walk for weeks without stopping. They can survive in environments that would kill most species. They heal from injuries that would be fatal to us." She turned to look at the other council members. "And most importantly, they respond to fear with aggression. When a faces danger, they flee. When a is threatened, they hide in their shells. When humans are scared, they attack. It is their survival instinct. The more threatened they feel, the more dangerous they become." War Prince listened to all of this with growing dread. "The council must intervene," he insisted. "Earth cannot be allowed to maintain weapons like these. They are too dangerous." "Dangerous to whom?" Counselor asked sharply. "They did not attack anyone. You attacked them. They defended themselves. Under council law, they had every right to do so." "They destroyed 37 of my ships," roared. "And you threatened to glass their cities and kill billions of their people," shot back. "What did you expect? That they would surrender meekly? You declared war on a species that has been practicing warfare since before your civilization discovered fire. You underestimated them because they seemed primitive. That was your mistake, not theirs. Ambassador Sung spoke again. The Council has a choice to make. You can treat Earth as an equal with the same rights and protections as any other member species. Or you can continue to see us as primitives, in which case we will withdraw from the Council and handle our own security. But understand this. Humanity will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will defend ourselves with every weapon at our disposal. Is that a threat? Demanded. No, Sung replied. It is a fact. Learn this lesson. Any other species that attacks Earth will learn it too. Admiral's hologram appeared, standing tall in her uniform. Counselors, I want to be very clear. Earth does not seek conflict. We do not want war, but we will not allow anyone to threaten our world. The fleet has 24 hours to leave our solar system. If they do not, we will eliminate them. Not because we are barbaric, not because we are savage, but because they are an active threat to our survival, and humans do not tolerate threats. The chamber fell silent. Every council member understood the implications. Earth had just demonstrated military capabilities that surpassed most council species. They had weapons the council had forgotten about, and they were willing to use them. Counselor looked at his display screens, his mind racing. The probability simulations were still showing error messages. Everything they thought they knew about warfare had just been proven wrong. The Council will vote, announced finally. All in favor of sanctions against Earth for using banned weapons. Only 3 counselors voted yes. Species, and 2 others who had close ties to the. All in favor of dropping the matter and recognizing Earth's right to self-defense. 9 counselors voted yes. The matter was settled. His image flickered with rage. This is not over. The Dominion will not forget this insult. Then the Dominion is welcome to try again, Admiral replied coldly. But I suggest you bring more ships next time. 300 was not nearly enough. War Prince sat on his command throne aboard the Blood Talon, staring at the damage reports scrolling across his displays. His fleet was broken, 37 ships destroyed, dozens more damaged, crew casualties in the thousands. And for what? He had expected an easy victory. Instead, he had discovered a nightmare. His communication officer approached cautiously. My prince, the council has voted. No sanctions against Earth. We are advised to withdraw immediately or face complete destruction. His 4 claws clenched on his throne's armrests. They side with the primitives. After everything we have done for the council, after 47 successful conquests. The humans are not primitives, my prince, Commander K said quietly. We were wrong. All of us were wrong. Wanted to argue, but he could not. The evidence floated all around him in the form of destroyed warships and dead crew members. The humans had outmaneuvered him, outgunned him, and made his entire fleet look like amateurs. Begin withdrawal, ordered finally. Plot course back to Dominion space, but mark these coordinates. Remember this system. The Dominion does not forget. My prince, Kay said carefully, I strongly advise against any future action against Earth. We cannot win against them. We will see, said darkly. We will see. But even as he said it, knew the truth. The humans had not just defeated him. They had shown him something terrifying. There was a species in the galaxy more dangerous than more ruthless, more effective, and they were only just beginning to explore the stars. The fleet began its retreat, limping away from Earth's solar system. Some ships left trails of atmosphere leaking from breached hulls. Others struggled with damaged engines. It was a humiliating withdrawal, and every species in the galaxy was watching. Captain Minu watched the leave from the bridge of the Defiant. His tactical officer looked disappointed. Should we pursue, sir? The officer asked. No, Minu replied. Admiral wants them to survive. She wants them to spread the word about what happened here. That is more valuable than destroying a few more ships. They might come back, the weapons officer pointed out. Minu smiled coldly. Let them. Next time we will be even more prepared, and they will be even more scared. Lieutenant's voice came through the communication system. Captain, we are monitoring Council transmissions. Every major species is discussing the battle. Some are calling for restrictions on Earth. Others are calling for stronger defense systems in case we decide to become aggressive. Good, Minyu said. Let them worry. Let them wonder what else we have hidden. Fear is a powerful tool. On Apex Prime, the Galactic Council was still in session. But now the tone had changed completely. Instead of dismissive mockery, there was serious discussion about what Earth represented. A counselor floated in the air, its jellyfish-like body pulsing with agitated colors. We must consider the implications. Humanity has weapons that surpass our own. They have tactics we do not understand. What if they decide to expand aggressively? Counselor shook her head. They have shown no signs of aggression. They defended their world when attacked. That is not the same as conquest. But they could, argued. They have the capability. With their weapons and mindset, Earth could become the dominant military power in the galaxy. Ambassador Sung listened to this debate without speaking. He had said everything that needed to be said. Now the council had to decide how to respond. Finally, an old counselor from a species called the spoke. They were ancient, even by council standards. Their representative was thin and fragile-looking, but his eyes were sharp. Perhaps, the counselor said slowly, we should consider what humanity offers rather than what they threaten. They have knowledge we have lost, military tactics we abandoned, technologies we outlawed. If they are willing to share some of this knowledge, the council could benefit greatly. Several counselors made sounds of disagreement, but others looked thoughtful. You want to learn from them? Asked incredulously. Learn how to kill more efficiently. I want to learn how to defend ourselves, they replied. The council has been at peace for 3,000 years. We have become weak, complacent. We banned weapons and tactics because we found them distasteful, not because they were ineffective. They prove that our current defenses are inadequate. They conquered 47 worlds before today. Perhaps it is time we remembered how to fight. Ambassador Sung saw his opening. The Council is correct to be concerned about Earth's military capabilities. We are different from you. We approach conflict in ways you find uncomfortable, but we are not conquerors. We do not want your worlds or your resources. What we want is respect. He stood and walked to the center of the chamber. Earth will agree to certain restrictions. We will not develop weapons of mass destruction beyond what we currently possess. We will not attack council members without provocation. We will follow council law regarding territorial disputes and trade. But in return, you must grant us full membership, not provisional status, full representation and full rights. And your weapons, asked, will you decommission them? No, Sung said firmly. Earth will maintain our military capabilities. We will defend ourselves and our allies with any means necessary. But we will also offer to train Council defense forces in modern warfare tactics. We will share some of our technology. We will help you remember how to protect yourselves. The chamber erupted in argument again. Some counselors were outraged at the suggestion. Others were intrigued. The debate continued for hours. Finally, counselors stood and called for a vote. All in favor of granting Earth full council membership with a permanent seat on the Security Council. The vote was close, but it passed. 9 votes in favor, 3 against. Earth is now a full member of the Galactic Council, announced, his voice heavy with resignation, with all rights and responsibilities thereof. Sung bowed respectfully. Earth thanks the Council for this decision. We will prove worthy of your trust. Back on Earth, Admiral watched the Council proceedings with satisfaction. She turned to her command staff in the Sol bunker. Well done, everyone, she said. We have accomplished our objectives. Earth is now recognized as a serious military power. They have been defeated, and we have established deterrence against future threats. What about the Colonel asked? Will they try again? Possibly, admitted. But not soon. They need to rebuild their fleet first, and by the time they do, we will have even better weapons and defenses. War Prince learned a painful lesson today. Any other species considering attack will think twice. Dr. Bora pulled up tactical projections. We should continue developing new systems. The galaxy has seen some of our capabilities, but not all. I recommend we keep our most advanced weapons secret for now. Let them wonder what else we have. Agreed, said. Lieutenant, maintain intelligence gathering on all Council species. I want to know their capabilities, their weaknesses, and their intentions toward Earth. Already in progress, Admiral replied. We are monitoring all Council communications. So far, most species are simply afraid of us. A few are considering alliance proposals. None are planning attacks. Captain Minu returned to Earth orbit and docked at the primary military station. His crew disembarked, tired but proud. They had fought the first major space battle in human history, and they had won decisively. As Minu walked through the station, crew members saluted him. He returned their salutes with respect. These people had performed brilliantly under pressure. They had followed orders, adapted to changing situations, and fought with courage and skill. An ensign approached him nervously. It was Ensign, a young officer who had served on the Defiant sensor array during the battle. Captain said, "May I ask you something?" Of course, Minu replied. Do you think the galaxy will fear us now? Asked quietly. Will they see us as monsters? Minu considered the question carefully. Some will, he admitted. They will look at our weapons and our tactics and see something barbaric, something they want nothing to do with, but others will see strength. They will see a species that can protect itself and its allies. Fear and respect are closely related, Ensign. As long as we use our power responsibly, fear is acceptable. But what if we become what they fear? Pressed. What if having all this power changes us? That is why we train, Minu said. That is why we have laws and oversight. Power does not corrupt automatically. It corrupts when there are no checks on it. Earth has learned this lesson many times throughout our history. We know what happens when military power is abused. We will not make that mistake. He looked out the station window at Earth hanging in the darkness below. The planet looked peaceful from here, blue and green and beautiful. It was hard to imagine that this world had produced species like sharks and bears and humans. The learned today that attacking Earth is suicide, Minu continued. That message will spread throughout the galaxy. Some species will respect us for it, others will fear us, but all of them will remember. And that is the point. We do not want to fight, we want to live in peace, but if someone forces us to fight, we will win. Nodded slowly. I understand, sir, thank you. As Minu watched her walk away, he thought about the future. Earth was now a full member of the Galactic Council. Humanity had proven itself capable of defending against aggressive species, but there were still thousands of worlds out there, countless civilizations with their own agendas and capabilities. Some would become allies, others would become rivals, a few might become enemies. But Earth was ready. Humanity had spent 10,000 years learning how to survive in a dangerous universe. They had climbed to the top of their world's food chain through intelligence, adaptability, and relentless determination. Now they would do the same among the stars. On Apex Prime, Ambassador Sung prepared to leave the council chamber. Counselor approached him quietly. Ambassador, she said, a moment. Of course, Counselor, Sung replied. You knew this would happen, said. It was not a question. You knew they would attack and you knew Earth would win. This was all calculated. Sung smiled slightly. War Prince gave us an opportunity. We took it. Now the galaxy knows that humanity is not weak. We are not primitives. We are survivors who have learned to thrive in a hostile universe. You manipulated the entire situation, said, though there was a note of respect in her voice. You let the council mock you, let them think you were helpless, and then demonstrated overwhelming force. It was a perfect display of what humans call psychological warfare. "We did what was necessary," Sung replied. "The Council would never have respected us through words alone. They needed to see what we are capable of. Now they know. And now we can move forward as equals." Studied him carefully. "Are you truly peaceful, Ambassador, or is this just another tactic?" "We are peaceful until threatened," Sung said. "Then we are the most dangerous species you will ever encounter. The choice of which version of humanity you meet is entirely up to you." He walked away, leaving to contemplate his words. She thought about the destroyed ships, the shocked council members, and the future that humanity represented. The galaxy had just learned an important lesson. Humans were not the primitive newcomers everyone assumed. They were predators who had evolved on a death world, refined warfare into an art form, and now carried those skills into space. Attacking Earth was not conquest. It was not even a challenge. It was suicide. And now every species in the galaxy knew it.